Hey there, President's Club and maybe the current keyboard. So my brain is exploding with ideas for the TechFest committee, but since I'm no longer co-president, I want to make sure I run it by our president team and make sure um, that I'm um, respecting boundaries. So here's my idea. The first one I have is, what do you guys think about changing the name TechFest Committee to TechFest Action Team or TechFest Team? Committee can have some negative connotations for some people. It's not a big deal, and then maybe changing subcommittees to subteams. So that's one idea. The second idea is make our TechFest folder one folder for all times. We use the same Google Drive folder and the same files for each new TechFest. But for any Google Doc Sheets slides, we name the version name. So like our current version from last year would be, TechFest 2017. So let me show you what I mean. We're in our 2017 folder. This year goes away and this becomes the one folder for all time. We go into, let's say, bags and shirts. And I'm going to open this one. And even this already says 2016, but the context is 2017. So we would erase that. And since this is from 2017, we go to File, Version History, name this version, TechFest 2017. And then we'd write over it. And next year, this version, we'd name it TechFest 2018. So we have one document for all time. That's kind of the idea. Yeah. And I stole this idea from Alice Keeler's session at Spring Q, and she doesn't make any new documents. She just names their versions. So, second idea, I've brought this up before, but what do you guys think about using Google Sites as the collaborative tool to replace Google Slides? Let me show you what I mean. So, let's say we use something like this, which is an option, nothing set in stone. We have a bit.ly to this collaborative slides. We invite all the committee members and subcommittee members to edit this. We have a welcome. We have some nice slides of our past committee members. And then we have the language and the titles of the subcommittees. That's the homepage. So here's what I've come up with for the join page. So we want new committee members to be able to join. We send them to this page, and the first thing that we want them to do is to submit an application. That includes their first name. We also want our board members to fill this out, and board members are going to put an asterisk before their name. This is Sarah's idea, which is a great idea. Last name, email must be a Gmail account, a link if they need to sign up. Twitter handle, they need to sign up to that. Voxer we used last year. I think we should use it again. It was a lifesaver. About you, 1 to 3 sentences about your experience in education. Once they fill that out, let's do the next one. So then, and this is kind of clunky embedded in Google Sites, so I'm open to not embedding it and just having a link to the form. It'll be a little cleaner. But then they're going to choose 2 subcommittee groups that they are interested in helping out with. But we'll choose which one, which one they get to go to. So we have, and then I have all the categories with the name, a short description, and the skills required. I'll let you guys look through that. And then I have a picture from this past Tech Fest of what that entails. So, and I've changed the name on some of these titles, so feel free to make better name recommendations. and then they submit. So, so once they submit, we're going to give them, once they submit, we want to send them an email confirmation. Then we want to direct them to vote on the doodle, and I have that embedded here, where they add their name and then they select whatever dates, whatever Thursdays, I've only chosen Thursdays, that they can meet, and the Thursdays with the most votes, that's when we're going to meet. The fourth thing is from that form they filled out, we give them access, editing access to this TechFest folder, and so we want them to bookmark that, and then we also want them to bookmark this website. But we can embed these type of folders in the Google site. And then I've created a TechFest committee meeting, so we can have all of these lined up on this calendar, and of course we would add all of the committee members to that calendar so it will show up wherever, whatever Gmail account they're using. And then having a section about communicating and collaborating, maybe just some expectations about, we communicate on Voxer or Hangout or group text or whatever we decide on, and then point them to the individual pages. So I'm going to leave this. So under subcommittees, this is going to have all of the committee groups, subcommittee groups under here, and they would just click on the one they're a part of, and I haven't created an example yet. But basically, the sub-team pages would have an image with the title of their team, the description and skills, the team members with photos. That would be nice. That way we can put names with faces. And then, this is an idea, maybe having an embedded Google slide with slide 1, the last thing that they worked on. So if we're having a board meeting or if we're having a committee meeting and one of those teams can't be there, we'll be able to look at their slide and say, oh, this is what they worked on last time they were working on stuff. This is their update. I mean, it doesn't have to be complicated. Just slide 1 is their most recent update. And then also we can embed files and folders that they're collaborating on. That way it's kind of visually there and organized. And then Sarah had this amazing idea, because I was sharing this application thing with her, this form, and this is what her idea was. She was thinking that the co-presidents would definitely be in charge of the keynote, and maybe kind of, I think with this organizational structure, maybe presiding over all of these groups, but having groups of subcommittees, like a group like, and this board 1 would be 1 to 2 board members that would be in charge of these subcommittees. And there's subcommittees that kind of rely on each other and need to communicate, like swag, exhibitors, raffles. All 3 of those committees need to be in constant communication. So putting 1 to 2 board members in charge of those committees. The same with board number 2, finance, registration, facility, sponsors. All of those need to communicate and collaborate, having 1 to 2 board members. Board 3, presenter schedule, student showcase volunteers. Board 4, food, marketing, signs. So kind of grouping them together, and I wrote it out here. And I think it's a great idea, having that structure. Below that, I've just listed, I've kind of taken that organization to show what it would look like clustered together. And for each one, we have a name, kind of a description of what's happening, and then the skills required. So that's that. So I'm going to share this document with you. You can, like, under each idea, I mean, you can respond via text, or if you feel like coming in here, just say something like,